In this video, we are going to make a beautiful turtleneck dress. This pattern has several different options. You can make a long version with a slit, you can make a medium length dress, or you can make a short blouse. Also, there are several different lengths of sleeves, the extra long sleeve for the beautiful look, the full length sleeve or short sleeve option. And also for the color, we have either full turtleneck option or mock turtleneck option. I created this design to become a timeless staple in your wardrobe, but also something that you will have so much fun creating. Before starting the assembling, a few tips on how to work with this Audrey pattern. This pattern comes in 9 different sizes, and each size has 2 lines, the pattern line and the seam allowance line. To make it easier to read the pattern and use it, I do recommend printing only one size that you need. This pattern is created for knit fabrics and it has a negative ease, meaning that the bust, waist and hip measurements are slightly smaller than the body measurements. This will help create that body hugging silhouette, but also it will prevent the fabric from sagging. Because of the negative ease, I do recommend selecting fabric that has quite a good stretch. For Audrey pattern, you can use light, medium or heavy weight knit fabrics with stretch. In this tutorial, I will be using a serger and a sewing machine. However, if you do not have a serger, you are still able to make this pattern, and I will link a tutorial on how to sew knit fabrics without a serger in the description box. Let's get started with the assembling, and we will start assembling from the turtleneck collar. For full turtleneck collar, place the detail as marked on the fold. For mock turtleneck option, place the detail on the fold here. Whether you're making a full turtleneck or mock turtleneck version, they're both sewn the same way. You want to go ahead and fold the pattern piece in half, right sides together, and serge along the edge. Whenever I'm sewing collars like this one, I like to press half seam allowance to one side and another half seam allowance to the other side. This way, when we fold the collar and the seam allowance is in the inside, we have less seam bulk at the connection line. Now for the dress length, you have several different options. We have a maxi dress length, which does include 3 centimeters of hem allowance. You can also make a short dress option, but this line does not include the seam allowance at the hem, so add 3 centimeters of seam allowance at the hem. Or you can go ahead and make a short blouse version. Again, this line does not include the seam allowance for the hem, so please add 3 centimeters of hem allowance. When sewing a maxi dress, you have a slit at the side. You can create slit on both sides of the dress, or you can create a slit only on one side. If you want to create a slit only on one side, go ahead and cut half of the pattern, then trim down the seam allowance for the slit and cut without slit seam allowance the other part of the front and back body pieces. Next step is to sew the shoulders. Take the back piece and the front piece, put them right sides together and pin at the shoulder line. Serge shoulder seams and press them towards the back side. Also, whenever I'm sewing shoulders on knit garments, I like to add a clear elastic tape to prevent shoulders from stretching out. So if you would like to do this as well, I will link a tutorial in the description box. Once we have the shoulders sewn, it's time to attach the turtleneck collar. On the collar pattern detail, you see notches. The collar seam should be aligned with the seam of the shoulder. The 2 notches that have shorter distances have to be pinned with the center of the back and the other shoulder, and the notches with a bigger distance have to be pinned with the center of the front. When you pin your collar in place, you can see that there is a little bit more fabric on the body of the dress than there is on the collar. This means that when we will be sewing, you have to stretch the collar slightly so that it fits the neckline neatly. You want to be serging from the garment side, not from the collar side, and when you're sewing, simply stretch the collar so that it fits the neckline. But make sure to not stretch the neckline itself. Serge all around the neckline and finish seam by leaving long thread tail and bringing it back into the seam using a big dowel needle or a crocheting hook. Next, it's time to add the sleeves. For the sleeves, you have several different options. You have an extra long sleeve option. You also have a long sleeve option, but this length does not include seam allowance, so I do recommend adding 2 cm of hem allowance to the long sleeve line. Also, you can create a short sleeve option. Again, it does not include seam allowance at the hem, so include 2 cm of hem allowance before cutting the sleeve from fabric. When you have your sleeves cut out, pin it to the body of the dress, right sides together. Make sure to align the notches on the body of the dress and sleeve. When you have the sleeves pinned, it's time to serge it. And this is how your dress looks so far. After this step, we have added the sleeves using an open sleeve method. At this time, if you want to add extra features to your dress, like I added lots of pearls to the dress, this is the best moment to do it. Before the sides are sewn, you have a lot of access to really get into all the places where you want, so take this time to decorate the dress if you want. If you're making a dress with a slit, now it's time to go ahead and serge the slit opening like this. Don't forget to serge slit opening on both front and back pieces. Once you have your sleeves installed, fold your garment right sides together and pin the sides of the sleeves together and the sides of the dress. If you're making a version with a slit, pin only until the beginning of the slit. Go ahead and serge the sides you pinned. If you're making a dress with a slit, you will not be able to fully touch the beginning of the slit with a serger. This is why you want to go ahead, take your sewing machine and stitch until the beginning of the slit using a straight stitch. Our dress is almost done and now we only have to hem it. Now for the hemming, go around and serge around the hem. Then take hem seam allowance, fold it to the inside of the garment, 3 cm of hem seam allowance, press it and base stitch. Then on your sewing machine, install a twin needle. Using a twin needle, sew all around the hem. Press the hem and your hem is finished. Using the same method as we did with the hem, I want you to go ahead and hem the sleeves exactly the same way. If you would like to see this technique more detailed, I will link the tutorial for hemming using this method in the description box. If you made the dress or sweater without the slit, this is done. You have finished your dress. If you're making a dress with a slit, go ahead and fold slit seam allowance to the inside of the garment and base stitch. Using a twin needle, I want you to go ahead and sew along one side of the slit. Once you're gearing to the top, I want you to create a triangle shape at the top so that the top of the slit is secured inside of the garment. And then continue sewing down the other side of the slit. Give your dress a nice final press and your dress is finished. This is such an easy but very fun dress to create and I hope you will enjoy it as much as I did. I will link the Audrey pattern in the description box down below, and if you create this garment, I would love to see your creation, so please send it to me via Instagram messages. Thank you for watching today and I will see you next time. Bye!